Tonight, Inside the Revolution, an exclusive frontline tour as rebel fighters try to topple a dictator.
We will defend our land, our children, our women, our old men until our last breath. We will not give up. We will have our freedom. We will have our freedom.
Our discussion with reporter David Enders.
We're seeing a severe humanitarian crisis, and people who are not directly involved with the fighting are paying the price.
Good evening. We begin tonight with an exclusive report from inside Syria, a country that is descending into wide-scale civil war. Rebels, calling themselves the Free Syrian Army, are on the offensive, claiming territory in fierce and bloody battles. This is a complex story, and one that is very difficult to cover because what's really going on deep inside the country is all but impossible to report. The Syrian regime under Bashar al-Assad is refusing to allow most Western journalists in. And so those reporters who want to write and broadcast the real story of Syria are forced to sneak in, undercover, and at great personal risk. That's what makes what you're about to see so extraordinary. Reporter-producer David Enders made it inside and spent 3 weeks traveling to many different towns with rebel fighters on the front lines, capturing images and hearing stories you won't see anywhere else. It's a hot night in early June. Rebel fighters are preparing for battle in a rural outpost in central Syria. They load homemade bombs, made of propane tanks and fertilizer, into a car that will bring them closer to enemy lines. Eject a group of Syrian soldiers from the center of a town called كفر.
الجيش الحر صورني هون تعال يا ابني. هدول بدنا نضرب فيهم جيش بالشار، عم يقصف الاهالي والمدنيين واولاد الصغار، بدنا نضرب بالشار فيهم.
The town is on the border of an area that today is largely controlled by the rebels. It's just after dawn the next morning. The streets of Kafr are almost completely deserted. All but a few civilians have fled the town. Rebel fighters planted their bombs a few hours before and are now taking their positions.
جايبين قوات راجلي عم يتقدموا مشاة وبدهم يقتحموا البلدة. معهم شيء 40 آلية مثل ما وصلتنا الأخبار، وهلا المشاة اللي جايين بالأول ليفتككوا ألغام.
Soon, a firefight begins. The rebels intend to stand their ground.
هو انه كانت كثير قوات من الجيش الحر محتشدة هون مشان عملية الاقتحام، وانه بده يفوتوا يهدموا البيوت، يحرقوا البيوت، ينهبوا البيوت، فدفاع عن البلدة، عن مدينة فرزيتي.
They get information that Syrian army tanks are rolling in. The rebels move to a new position. These are students, doctors, and lawyers, by no means a professionally trained fighting force. The battle leaves the town of Kafr burning.